Hi everyone. This time we have this program that accepts two numbers. So the first number is 2, and the second number is, for example, 1, and it gives us the quotient or the answer in the division when we divide these two numbers. Okay, so how can we actually refine this program? So basically this is the code. And of course, I am using the utility class or the utility package from the Java. And I'm using scanner here, and I'm just asking for first and second number and then printing it out. Okay, so now that we have this, what is wrong with our code? For example, we run it again and then we entered 1 and we entered 0. We all know that we cannot actually divide any number with 0. Yes, we can divide 0 by any number, but we can not divide any number with 0. So our what we want to do here is to throw an exception to catch this error, to be able to refine our code. So that is what we are going to talk about right now. It's all about exception handling. So as we all know, this is already in our course or in our handouts in ELMS, and just download your copy there. And we have two types of exception. It is all stated there, what are the difference between the two, and hopefully you already know it. And this time we'll focus on the input mismatch exception and of course the arithmetic exception that we have talked about. You can also try this one out, the array index out of bound, once we learn how to handle exceptions. So right now we'll talk about the arithmetic exception. So it says that arithmetic error such as an integer divided by 0. In our program, this program, it shows us that it is actually arithmetic exception. So Java already know it, that we have an arithmetic exception. All we have to do is to catch it. So how can we actually catch it? So we have here what we call a try block, which means this block that might throw an exception, which can be handled by its partner, which is the catch block. So the try block says that, okay, this tries if will this have an error? If yes, I'll give it to catch block. But if it doesn't have an error, it will just push through. So let's try it now. So what is the syntax of a try block? It says that we should have first, okay, we already have this, and then it says that we should actually have a try block here. So let's try to just reconstruct this a little bit. Okay, so why not put this one, and then let's just say we have a quotient here and quotient here is equal to this one. Okay, so it says that, okay, so now we have this one, and then okay, it says that I should put try. So will this work now? The answer is no, because it says that error. I want you to really focus on the error, try without catch or finally. So that means I should have a catch. Every time I have a try, I should have a catch or finally. So how do we actually do the catch one. So the syntax for catch is that you need, it is said here that you actually need, where is it? You actually need an exception and exception name. So in this example, the exception that we are actually getting is arithmetic exception. So if we try to arithmetic exception, okay, and then the exception name, again, it is just an identifier. You can actually give it anything that you want it to give, to name it, and system.out.print divisor is invalid. The dividend and the divisor, remember that? Okay, so now, hopefully this will work. What do you think? Will this already work? Okay, so it says that variable quotient. Okay, so for that quotient. Oh, I see. I haven't. Okay, so let's just give it. Why not double it? Double quotient. Okay, so now let's just pull this through. Okay, for the meantime, let's just put it as an integer so that we will not have any trouble at all. So now we have this. Will this actually work? Okay, it compiled, but what if, okay, it's working 1 divided by 2, but what if I put 2 and then 0? It actually worked, because this is the moment that we are actually trying to get the quotient, and it is inside the try block. But again, if this is outside the try block, this will actually not work, because it will not have any effect in our program at all. So 1 and then 0, and still it will throw that error, because this is the time that it is actually throwing that error. So again, anything that might throw an error should be inside the try block, and of course any error should be catched by a catch block. Okay, so now that we have arithmetic exception error catcher, what if I want to try this one? Oh, I haven't compiled it yet. Okay, let me just recompile it then. There we have it. So 2 and 0. Okay, it's working. Yay! But is this bug free already? Let's try another example. What if I put 1 and I put A? It gives us an error again, and it's not error proof. So what if I entered a letter? That means it gives us input mismatch exception, and that is another exception around here. So again, we have to add another one, which is the input mismatch exception, which is like this one. But how do we do that? Okay, so it says that, okay, input mismatch exception catches when entering a value that does not match the expected type. So over here we are expecting a integer, next int. So we add another block or catcher through this one. So input mismatch exception, and then please input an integer. So do you think this will now work? Let's see. Who's betting that this will work? Okay, so okay, so 1 and then A. Oh no, I have put catch. I have compiled it, I have run it, and rechecking, we already have the catch function of the input mismatch exception. How come that it's not working? Because this input mismatch exceptions, as you can see here, works the moment that we ask the user for an input. That means this should be included here. So now let's try it again. So for example, I have A. It says that please input an integer. 1 and then A. Please input an integer. So now, once we have 0, divisor is invalid, but when we give the correct numbers or correct input, it gives us correct output. So now we can be sure that our program is error-proof and bug-proof with the help of exception handling. So hopefully you learned something new, and again, you may want to try the array index out of bounds exception, which happens when we try to access an invalid index of an array. Okay, so if you have any questions, you may send message or to me in the ELMS, or give me a heads up out there. Okay, so happy coding everyone, and see you next video.